Reichstag fire was the moment of Hitler's government, which he came to power mainly through democratic means. It was the archetype of terror management. On February 27th, 1933, it was about 9 p.m. in the building housing the German parliament, Reichstag, it began to burn. Who set the fire that night in Berlin? We don't know, and it doesn't really matter. What matters is the spectacular act of terror initiates the power of emergency. Gazing with pleasure at the flames in the night, Hitler said, "The fire is just the beginning." Whether or not the Nazis set the fire, Hitler saw political opportunity. There was no mercy now. Anyone standing in the way was cut down. The next day, a decree suspended the basic rights of the German citizens, allowing them to be preventively detained. We see this now in with our police, and from 911 up to now. At some point we have to stop. On the strength of Hitler's claims that the fire was the work of the German enemies, the Nazi Party won a decisive victory in Parliament. Elections began on March 5th. The police and Nazi parliamentaries began to round up members of the left-wing politics party and place them in improvised concentration camps. On March 23rd, the new parliament passed an enabling act, which allowed Hitler the rule of decree. Germany will remain in the state of emergency for the next 12 years until the war was lost. Does this sound familiar? Lessons about the state. Bertrand Russell, 1917. Why men fight. The power of the state may be brought to bear, as it often is in England and the United States, through public option rather than through laws, by oratory and the influences of the press. Public option is largely created by the state, and is tyrannous. Public option is as great as to the enemy as to liberty as tyrannous laws. If the young men who will not fight find themselves being dismissed from employment or insulted on the street, cold-shouldered by a friend, or thrown over by the scorn of a woman who may formerly have liked him, he will feel the penalties quite as hard as to bear as a death penalty. The free community requires not only legal freedom, but the tolerant public option, as absent as instinctive inquisition into our neighbors' affairs, which under the guise of upholding moral standards enables good people to indulge unconsciously in the disposition of cruelty and persecution. Thinking ill of others is not in itself good reason for thinking good or well of ourselves, as long as this is not recognized, and so long as the state can manufacture public option, except in the case rare where it is revolutionary. Public option may be reckoned as definite power of the state. Tyranny works in the media. For the young man being persecuted today and now, let me share some wisdom. As long as you are given to believe that someone from your past, or someone in a far future, or some dragon is persecuting you, or is your rival, or is holding you back from things you deserve, it can never be someone that is standing in front of you now.